Life's so much easier when you just win. Coach Prime, maybe come out here. The haters are gonna rise from the dead today. They'll be in the comment section, loud and proud, to talk about this tough loss against Kansas. We'll talk about this game a little bit, then talk about how this looks for the Big 12 and how the layout's gonna be for the Buffs. Let's roll, man. Let's talk about it. I flushed my juice down in the club. Tough loss there to Kansas. Look, we had a breakdown show if you guys had a chance to check those things out, but a lot of the things that I said that I was concerned about happened tenfold. You know what I mean? Their schemes, their ability to move the ball, a lot of movement, a lot of play action, a lot of running abilities, a lot of running options, keeping the ball kind of just very fluid. And I said, look, it's going to be hard to stop. I really thought and hoped that the talent on Colorado would be overcome those things and kind of break through the schemes. And at times they did. But again, with those schemes, if they're executed well, and it looks like this Kansas team has been executed and finding a rhythm, which we did talk about, you got to be perfect. You got to hit every tackle. And Coach Prime said in his presser after the game, he said, look, we were intoxicated with winning. And he goes, we do our best to keep certain guys off the podium, certain guys out of pet podcasts because they can't handle what comes with winning. They get too intoxicated, but ultimately at the end of the day, they're able to read it and still hear about it. And that's kind of how it felt. I think there was a little bit of combination of both. Not to take away from Kansas. Kansas played a hell of a football game. They've been dialed in, but you've got them figuring it out, them finding a rhythm on top of Colorado. Kind of just, it almost felt like, we can come back. We can do this. And all year they've kind of found a way to get through. And this time it's just like when you're playing a team that's, hey, we're not going to let you get into that. And that's what happened. When you take a look at the stat line, when you have 331 rushing yards, that's disgusting. That's gross. And I said what Colorado needed to do going into this game, going up against one of the lesser rush defenses in the country, although Kansas D-line was pretty solid last night, is run the ball. Run the ball efficiently. Colorado will have a fantastic night. They ran the ball for 42 yards and had a time possession of 1949. Look, I'm telling you things you already know, right? You saw the game. You saw the score. I mean, we're just recapping what happened. So it's very unfortunate. Coach Prime took it on the chin. I mean, look, I think Kansas has been playing well, finding hot spots, and I'm a little shocked of how it got a little carried away. I'm not surprised on the team that showed up, because when we broke it down, I go, look, you got to be concerned of what they're able to bring to the table. They're a little more complete, right? Other teams kind of had some holes. This team, I felt, although maybe the talent wasn't there, they were complete and they were firing all cylinders and playing together as a football team. And this late in the season, you kind of have Colorado looking probably maybe a game or two ahead, and Kansas is like every game is just, we're just here to ruin people's days. Nothing matters. Nothing matter to them. I think they're now one game away from a bowl game. So, there's a little bit of that to it too. And so we'll talk about that in a minute, just where how the Big 12 standings are going to match up and where this lies. Look, it's out of Colorado's hands now. They had full control on whether or not they made the Big 12 championship. It's back out of their hands again. So that's a crappy place to be after what has been a great season. And it sucks. Tough loss against a really sound Kansas football team that was finding its rhythm. Look, we've been feeding families with this, and we were unable to succeed with our picks, because I said -3 all day long. Look, I really thought that the Kansas team was going to probably do some things, but I thought Colorado's offense was going to be able to pull away, but they never found themselves a rhythm either. There was this clip too, which I'm very upset about, because I feel like this is what everyone's kind of thriving off of the shove from Shedeur Sanders. Like, watching it in real time, when you slow it down, sure, you see it. It gets exhausting. They try to find every single way to try to put these guys in a picture in a certain light. It's like, look, the guy was getting trampled. He stood up. He's looking at the Kansas player. And I'm not condoning pushing people or any of that stuff, but understand, like, when you're seeing red and you feel people pushing you, you're just like, get off me, bro. Like, it's not like he's like, there's a ref, let me shove him down. Like, come on. Like, let's use our noggins. Put the brain together. People just love to take, like, oh no, they're acting like idiots. They're throwing fits. Like, I can't stand it, dude. It's so frustrating that this is where it goes when they lose. Like, I'm all cool, like, kind of taking jabs of how Colorado Laws play that game. That's fine. That's the name of the game, right? Like, I'm over sipping coffee and talking shit when they win. So there's that part of it, but don't play this nonsense of, like, they're just playing out there like idiots. That frustrates me. But again, this show is brought to you by BetUS. If you guys took the over, you did well with that. Go to betus.com, use code YouTube150, get back 150% on your first deposit, then 125 on your next two up to $2,000 when you use the code YouTube150. So look, although we missed the spread on this one, so there's 2 games now, Nebraska and now Kansas. And again, I told you this Kansas team kind of showed some lights of that Nebraska team, which I thought this Colorado team was. Look, I think they had found themselves. I think they maybe lost a little bit there at the end. So it is what it is. But let's talk about this Big 12 matchup. What needs to happen here? How do the Buffs get in? Out of those 4 teams, Arizona State, Iowa State, BYU, and Colorado, Colorado has like a 5.6 chance of making the Big 12 championship, so the least amount, because again, they're at that bottom of the total poll, given tiebreakers, things like that. Because obviously they all have 2 losses in the conferences, but based on who they played, it's so complex. I couldn't even tell you, to be honest with you, but this is how it is. This is what the rankings are. So what has to happen? Obviously, Colorado has to win. That is an absolute must. So that part they control, go win the football game. That's number 1. Number 2, 2 of the 2 teams in front of them have to lose. That's it. Plain and simple. BYU loses and Iowa State loses. Colorado plays Arizona State. Arizona State loses. Iowa State loses. Colorado plays BYU. Now, if BYU loses, it could be somebody else, but I'm just saying, like, one of them wins, right? If by BYU and Arizona State lose, they play Iowa State. So, Buff fans, what you're looking at here is for Arizona State to lose. Iowa State and BYU, they've got some tough games. Arizona State has really found itself and it's been on a rhythm. I think Iowa State and BYU are probably the best 2 options of dropping a game. So we'll see. We'll see. I think it's Iowa State, I believe, or Arizona State. One of them plays Kansas State. So there's a great opportunity. And I think the other one plays Houston, which isn't the most exciting. So Arizona State plays Arizona, which is a very, very likable for an upset just because it's a rivalry game. It's at Arizona. So Iowa State plays Kansas State, but it's at Iowa State. Those 2 are big games, and BYU plays Houston, and Houston's, look, it's BYU's coming off 2 losses in a row to Kansas and, of course, Arizona State right there at the end. They're all 3 of these teams understand what's at stake here. So out of all those teams, Colorado has the easiest game schedule-wise because they're playing Oklahoma State. They're playing the worst team in the Big 12. It's not over. It's not over. Not the place you wanted to be. Again, just 2 weeks ago, Colorado was flying high and had an opportunity to get it done. But it is what it is. This is what's been handed, what's been delivered. So we'll continue to monitor, continue to keep an eye on it. I think it was prime handled it kind of how you expect. It's like, hey, got beat, got out coached, got out man, got out just got out bullied any way which way you looked. Again, the team I feel like kind of was a little flat-footed and never could really turn it back around. Play calling wasn't completely atrocious. I really just think, look, Kansas, again, their scheme's very good, and those guys have been executing it, and you've got to be in the right places and have the talent to overcome certain things if it is being executed, and Colorado just didn't have it. So, tough loss, sucks, but still, I mean, look, regardless, right now we know for a fact they're going to play in a pretty exciting bowl game, but look, that playoff was really looking appealing. It's something to keep in mind, too. A lot of top teams, Ole Miss, Alabama, those teams fell this past week, which is it's shaking up this top 12. It's going to be interesting. So 2 Big 12 teams really have a possibility of making it. 3 losses for Colorado. If they don't win the Big 12, not so much, but maybe they go to against 2 losses, Arizona State or Iowa State. One of those 2 teams could possibly make it, just given the circumstances of the conferences right now. I wouldn't be surprised if one of those teams are in the top 12 by the end of this thing. So we'll continue to keep an eye on it. Be sure to smash the like button and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace and love, baby.